We also have Mahisha Lunuvilla. Mahisha is also an associate QA lead at 99X. She has 6+ years of experience in both manual and automation testing. Last but definitely not the least, we have Upeksha Ratnayakar. Upeksha also is an associate quality assurance engineer at 99X, having 5+ years of experience in the field of quality assurance. Before we get our hands dirty, we'll be running a live Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat, and we'll be taking them at the end of the session. And if you miss anything, don't worry. We are recording the session, and we'll be uploading it on YouTube soon. So let's get started. We all know there are so many test management tools in the IT industry, but we never get a proper introduction to it. We just start with whatever we are told to use. So what would you say that test management tool is, Chama?
Yeah. So Darshi, about test management tool. Um, there are, as we all know, I guess all the attendees we have as well as ourselves are mainly working in quality related activities, and we all know that there are many activities as well as noise around the quality assurance activities that we do or the processes. So and the I believe we all know what the cost is when it comes to finding a bug when it goes to the production, and the cost is high. And customers usually use these ALMs. ALM means application lifecycle monitoring tools, and also project management softwares sometimes to try to track everything that we do in quality related activities. But uh, there was no proper test management tools, and that is when all these test management tools comes in, that are tailored to quality assurance activities, and make things easy for quality assurance representatives. And the tools are mainly used for all the activities, summarizing into how to test, how to plan tests, how to execute, getting all these reports and making decisions upon the reports likewise. So all these activities combined together is where test management tools comes in. That's actually the point of view that I have on test management tool. And the main target, I would say, a test management tool has is to um, bring down the time that we spend for all the quality assurance related activities, and optimizing the test management speed, because we all know the speed of agile development is very improving day by day, and we need to catch up with these agile development methodologies in order to make sure that we don't release any bugs to the production. And yeah, that's what test management tools are actually.
Okay. So what are we actually getting out of using test management tools? Upeksha, maybe you can tell us something.
Yeah, Darshi, a good question. So, in terms of the benefits or the perks when it comes to test management tools, so there are many. So, I'll highlight a very few important ones. So, one thing is that these test management tools, they are very organized. So, say your project is agile project, so you may have a backlog and a sprint board, delivery plans. So, you can arrange these things in a very structural, comprehensive and a very clean manner. So anyone who comes in could easily get a glimpse as to where your project stands. So these test management tools, they are very organized, and it makes life easier for all the stakeholders. So that is one thing. And another thing is that the traceability between test artifacts could be easily maintained using these test management tools. So when it comes to testing, we have different artifacts. We have the requirements, we have the test cases, we have bugs, and we may have several other tasks as well. So we could easily link these things together using test management tools. So that is another thing that test management tools help us with. And then it also helps us to avoid duplication or the replication of doing the same thing again. So for an example, say you find a bug and you're not sure that the same bug is found previously as well. So you can easily go into the particular requirement and check inside there whether the same bug is already reported or not. So it's that easy, and you won't spend your valuable time reporting the or writing the same bug again. So your time is saved, right? So it's not only applicable for bugs; it could be applied for all the test artifacts in the same way. So your time is saved uh, on duplicating or repeating the same thing again and again. And then one other important thing is that we have these user privileges in these tools, so we can give permissions as to who can control what. So your project data is always protected. So data protection is something that our customers always need and they ask for. So data protection is also there, and we can always generate, graphical reports and the charts kind of things. So we can share those things with stakeholders, and they'll be very pleased to see those. And anyone who sees these, graphical representations of data could easily grab things than seeing these boring numbers, right? And apart from that, it's very easy to communicate between team members. Say you want to assign a particular task to a person. So in a test management tool, you'll see the list of team members that have the access to the particular project, and you just have to select the particular team member's name and just save the changes. So that particular member will receive a notification as to that task is assigned to that particular member. So the communication has been made easy, and if you have a Microsoft Teams kind of tool linked with your test management tool, they'll be notified there as well. So the communication also is being easy. And also, most of these test management tools, they allow integration of third party tools, external tools with these tools. So say you have automated a test case using a different tool, so you could link your automated test cases with the manual test cases that you have written in the test management tool. So that integration facilities are also provided in these tools, which make things easier for us. And also searching kind of things are also made easier. Say your project is a manual project. If you want to search for something, you'll have to go through all the documents and all the stuff artifacts that you have in order to find one thing. But if you have everything inside one test management tool, so then it's just a matter of typing what you want to find in the search bar and pressing the enter, and you'll get the search result in a glimpse. So searching has made easier as well. So as a whole, this has reduced the time that the not just the QA team, but the entire project team spends on other tasks, and it both directly and indirectly increases the team productivity, and also it increases the software's quality, the product's quality, and the project quality as well. So these are some of the perks, some of the benefits that we get when using test management tools.
Yeah, thank you, Peksha. Yeah, I just totally agree with the graphs also. I mean, when you see the graphs, you actually grab the details very quickly, and searching is also made really easy with the test management tool.
Yeah, that's
But then, when we have pros, obviously we are going to have cons as well. So, Mahisha, would you mind telling us about the cons?
Yeah. So as Supeksha mentioned, there are many benefits that can be achieved by using test management tools to support test activities. But also there are pitfalls of test management tools. So let's have a look at a few of them. So the time is very important to software delivery in the agile environment. So if test case management tool is not utilized efficiently, such as test case prioritization haven't done, regression or smoke test suits haven't utilized, so it's more likely that the software delivery will be delayed. So time is critical in today's competitive era where product deliveries have come down from months to weeks. So if we haven't utilized our test management tool, that would be a huge disadvantage for the project itself. And some of test management tools are not open source. So the cost is high. So if your project is a low budget project or a low profit project, so no use of going for a uh, commercial tool. and some of them do not have automation support, or they haven't exposed an open API. So if your project have a good automation process, so again you have to think of that as well. Then some of tools does not provide defect management module, and apart from that, in agile projects, that rapid changes can be happen in the requirements. So we need to make sure that the existing test cases are up to date. Otherwise, it takes more time to grab the requirement changes while testing in next release. So in that case, no use of having a test management tools. So Darshit, those are the main cons of the test management tools.
Thanks, Maisha. But then, so in most cases, like even in my project, I didn't get to actually choose the test management tool for the project. But it was already chosen, and we just have to follow it. So if you want to choose the test management tool, and if you're just starting a project, like how would you choose it, Upeksha?
Yeah, good question, Darshi. So, if you are to choose a test management tool, so then there are few things that you need to consider in the first place. So, I need to tell you that I can't recommend you a tool for your project. I can't tell you, okay, go ahead with VSTS, because it only depends on your project's requirement. So, when you are to choose a test management tool for your project, the first thing you need to know, you need to understand better is your project's requirement, what your project exactly need, and how long your project will run, how long your project will need this tool uh, for, and what artifacts will be useful for your project and which ones will not be useful. So you need to understand your project's requirement in the first place if you are to choose a test management tool. So then only you need to proceed. And the second important thing you need to find out is the budget. So you need to know the budget that your project could allocate. So if your project is not stable, or if your project is not able to allocate a budget for a separate test management tool, then you have no choice. You have to go with a free tool. So if your project can allocate a budget, then you not need to know how much, right? So you need to know those two things in the first place if you are to choose a test management tool for your project, the exact requirement for your project and the budget constraints of your project. So once you know that, then there are ample of test management tools out there in the market. So you can do a small research and select a few tools that would fit your requirement and your budget, right? So I don't recommend you to go and pick a tool straight, because so it will be very good if you can choose several tools and do a small research kind of a thing and finalize the tool. So in that case, you once you have chosen several tools, so you can find out other details about these tools, like uh, about the license of these tools, right? Some tools, they have customized license, so the license could be customized for the time period that you want, and then you need to know for that license what features they'll make available for you, what features will not be there. So you need to find about the license details, and then you need to know about the security, how much security and how the security is provided through these tools. So if your data is not secured in the tool that you choose, then that's of no use. And then you need to know about the support that this tool has. So that could be the vendor support, or that could be the community support, because if you don't know something, and if you're not able to go search and find how to do that, then you will be in trouble. So you need to know the support, how the support could be gained if you encounter a problem in the middle while using this tool. So you need to know about the support, and then you can find out about the cost that you will have to spend on the maintenance. And you also can find out about the integration of external tools. So like we mentioned earlier, if you have several artifacts already in separate different tools, if you have automated using a different tool, if it's possible to integrate this work with the test management tool that you choose, so you need to find out about that as well. So you need to find about the capability to integrate the external tools to your test management tool. So that you have to find out about. And then most many tools in the market today, they have different technical limitations. So you need to find out if there are any technical limitations in these tools that you choose, and if there are ways to overcome them, right? And then which features will be available for you, like at least the main features, the main artifacts like requirement documentation and test case writing, defect tracking, at least these main functionalities are available to you. You need to find out about that as well. And then about the compatibility, so if the tool could run across any platform in any browser, if it is a web-based tool. So you need to you need to find out about the compatibility. And then you also can find out about the version controlling, the maintainability, and then how the communication could be done using these tools. So these things you can find out about, and you can create a table kind of a thing or a matrix kind of a thing, and then you can compare between these tools, and finally you can come up with the best tool for your project. And if you have the time and space, you can of course go for a POC, a proof of concept kind of a thing, before you finalize the tool, and you can then choose the best tool for your project. So the best tool for your project will depend on the project's requirement and the budget in the first place, and then after that only you'll have to find out the other details. So that is how you can choose a test management tool for your project. So not an easy task.
Yeah, this sounds like there's another project that we have to do inside our project. We have to do so much research on it. Guys, if you guys have any questions related to test management tools, you can drop it in the chat. The panel, the speakers will take it at the end of the session. And let's go to the next one. So Mahisha, you're using Jira and TestRail, right? So why, if the TestRail is the test management tool you're using, so why are you using it with Jira? What is Jira?
Yes, Darshi. So there are two terms here. One is project management and the other one is test management. So Jira is agile project management tool, and it allows us to bug tracking as well. So it is built for every member of your software team to plan, track, and release your software or a product. So Jira test management is possible, but it's not ideal. So if we want to write a test case in Jira, we have to create a Jira issue. And so in Jira issues, we have different statuses like to do, in progress, testing, and done likewise. So if we create a test case in Jira, how do we reuse that written test cases? Because we have to close down the task, right? So we cannot measure the overall testing, and so there are a lot of gray areas are there if we try Jira as test management tool. So it is not the best way to use Jira as a test management tool. And TestRail is one of the test management tools. So where team members can write test cases, organize test suits, execute test runs, and track their results. So in TestRail, we cannot do project management. Can we create user stories, epics in TestRail? No, right? So we cannot use TestRail as a project management tool alone. So in order to make project management and test case management together, definitely we have to integrate Jira and TestRail. So by doing that, the entire team can manage their project work and testing in one go. So that's why, Darshi, we have to use Jira and TestRail together.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. How do we actually track, I mean, how do we trace the test cases to bugs, like to the requirement in the test management tool? I think all of you all will be doing it in different ways. Maybe you guys can talk about it.
Yeah, I'll discuss about that. So about tracing these tools, same as like Mahisha just said, Jira is providing some set of features, and test management tools provide different set of features. And then the test management tools are specialized and tailor-made, as I said previously, to cater all the requirements that we have, including what we learn as as we start in our QA careers, we read about different traceability matrices, how to link between different user cases. We can start from the topmost level, which we could define as epics, and down to the bug level. So all this linking between all these tasks are majorly catered in test management tools. Um, so there are different sections, different separate modules, is if I may say. So they implement these different dashboards, different reporting sections, filtering mechanisms, just to get us the idea what is happening right at the moment, and if we even have to have a look at the previous release, what kind of user stories did we execute, how many bugs we had, and if we have a burning issue or else a high issue that we currently have in the release, we can trace that bug back into the user story, so we can take decisions upon it as well. So all these traceability into requirements against the bugs as well as other activities that we do are actually provided in the test management tools. These are just a matter of figuring things out and fine tuning all the filtrations we have and making dashboards, or even whatever is easy for us. It could be filters, it could be dashboards. Yeah.
Yes, Darshi. So to add to that, let me talk about Jira and TestRail. So we can integrate them easily. You guys can find how the integration can be done in their documentations. They have clearly mentioned that. So once we integrate them, both the tools, we can track the test cases with the requirements. So requirements are in the Jira as user stories. So in TestRail, once we write the test cases for a particular user story, there's a place to add Jira user ID in the test case itself. So if you go to the Jira user story, it shows what are the available test cases for the user story, which were written in the test rail. So you don't need to go to the test rail and check what are the test cases available for the user story. So speaking of the test cases, you also can see the test case results in Jira user story as well. So that's how we maintain the traceability between requirements and test cases. So by doing that, developers also can see what are the test results for the particular uh, user story.
Yeah, that would be actually very helpful. Upeksha, do you have any insights to it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh,
talking about the traceability, it's more or less the same in VSTS as well. So I think rather than explaining this further, because we have been telling a lot of things since the beginning, so rather than explaining this further, I think I'd rather go for a small demonstration, so it will make things much clearer to you. So let me share. Can you all see?
say.
Yeah. This, when you just have to log into VTS, this is what you will see. So all the projects that you have access to will be shown as tiles like this. So you can just click on the project to go inside and do whatever you need to do inside that project. So you have to keep in mind in this case that this project that I'm showcasing you here is not a real project. This is a demo project that I created just for the purpose of this demo. And also I won't be able to show you all the functionalities that are here. Uh, in VSTS, given the time limitation and all, and the uh,
Maisha, we can't hear.
so you have overview, boards, OS, pipelines, test plans, and artifacts. And right at the bottom, you will see
Yeah, we can hear it now.
settings. And if you click on this, you will be navigated into the project settings view where you could add new templates and privileges and stuff like that. So here you by default the summary view of overview is selected, where it will show you the project details and the members who have access to the project. So currently I only have myself in the project. And then you have dashboards and you have wiki. So this is the place where you can document everything from the project requirements to test plans to project plans to every minute detail. You can document it here. So you can just click on add sub page here, and you can add documents, you can edit them, and you can do whatever is required. You can even download the details in the PDF form. And then you have boards. So under boards we have work items, boards, backlogs, sprints, quarries, and delivery plans. So in the backlog, you will see the backlog items that are available in your project. So if I go into the backlog, I have one item here, which is the Epic. So the Epic is user administration portal, and under that I have a feature that is user accounts, and under that I have two user stories. And under one of the user stories I have a set of tasks that I need to accomplish. So once all these tasks are done, only this user story will be marked as done. And once both the user stories are done, the feature will be marked as done. And when the feature is done, the Epic will be marked as done. So that is how it works. So it's a tree structure that is being maintained here. And as you can see, the state is also being displayed here of each of these items. So some of the tasks are already done, they are marked as closed, and some of them are active, which means they are in progress, and some are in new state, which means they are not started yet. So if you go into the sprint board, so it will show you an agile sprint board, and I have a 2 week iteration set here. So I'm currently in iteration 1, which is from the 20th of June to the 3rd of July. So 5 more days are remaining. And in this, you can see this one user story is taken into this iteration 1, and some of the tasks are already completed, some are in progress, and some are in the new state. And if I go inside the user story, so inside the user story you could write descriptions and acceptance criteria about what is being covered in this user story. And under that you have all these tasks. And one thing to note is that you could also link the test cases that you create under this particular user story to this uh, user story. And even the bugs you can link here. So when you're creating new test case or a bug, you can go here and you can click on new item, and you can select the type of item, whether it is a test case or a bug, and you can uh, enter further details and create the bug or the task or the test case. So everything is maintained under one user story. So traceability is very easily maintained here. So it is very easy for us to find the artifacts that are coming under this particular user story. And uh, then under boards, we also have queries. So this is the place where you could query and fetch the details. And if you need against the same details, you can create charts and all that. So I have one query created by myself, which asks to fetch uh, all the work items that are tasks, and where the state is any state. So when I run this query, so this is the result that I'm getting. And if you want to view charts, you can go to this charts tab, and I've already added a chart here, so you can view the details in this chart. If you want a new chart to be added, you can click on new chart and give the details you require and create a new chart. And the same way you can add more queries and generate more charts as well. And you can create delivery plans as well. And then there are repos, and pipelines, and then you have test plans. So test plans is where you will be able to create new test plans and create test cases under those. So unfortunately I can't show this to you now, because I don't have that privilege in my version. uh, but these test cases that you create, the test plans and the test cases that you create, you can map them with the user stories, and you can maintain the traceability very easily using this tool. And there are artifacts. So inside this vs inside a VSTS project, there are a lot of functionalities that you could make use of to ease up your work and to increase the productivity of your team. So if you are interested, you can do further research and find out these things further. Show you how it. Yeah, so I think it gave you a much better understanding about how a test management tool works and how this traceability is done and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was very clear. And I think now that we have Mahisha explained about TestRail and you explained about VSTS as well, I think we should hear about Qmetry as well. So, Chamath, you are using Qmetry with Jira, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, why did you come to that tool?
Yeah, so
Why?
so previously I have been working with Jira, and I believe at least most of us that we have in this panel discussion are using Jira, because most of the project as well I used to use Jira as a project management tool. And even previously when I use Jira, I did not know that there were two versions, kind of two types of instances there in Jira. And apparently there are, so one is classic and one is next gen. um, I came across this because I moved into a new project, which is a project that was, the company is a startup, and the customer is not, technically savvy, or else he doesn't have any experience when it comes to these project management tools. Although he has a basic understanding on different technical areas, he doesn't know about this project management tools. So he had already selected Jira NextGen just because NextGen is a instance where it is easy to configure. Some of the settings are even drag and drop. So whereas in Classic we have to go through different screens, select different things, and maybe add users likewise, is to even create rules and automated rules likewise. Even in NextGen are much more simpler than Classic. So the CEO and the product owner had this requirement that everything needs to be simple and easy to use, and that was already decided upon. So around 1.5 years back, I think I joined to the team, and the requirement was that we need a test management tool, since the work in 99x, we initially started this work, and everything needs to be, go under a proper process likewise. So when I went through all these tools that we have, even TestRail, different other tools, they were not supporting NextGen, just because the NextGen was new. And this there were limitations. Some tools were working, but there were limitations. So Qmetry was the only viable option at that moment, but I do not regret selecting the Qmetry against the other tools that already had few features, because the the improvement they have done so far in Qmetry, it is we should admire that. And all these features they have considered, I believe, at least half of the implementation team that they have in Qmetry should be QA engineers, because all these features and easiness to use is there. And the 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 downside of using uh, NextGen for the CEO was recovered by the Qmetry tool, because they just want the easiness to configure as well as to have something worked, and Qmetry was the solution. And also the special thing that I should mention is that Qmetry supports for agile development methodologies, especially Scrum and Kanban. And the release structure that we have in the current project I work is not fixed to 1 week sprint or else 2 week sprint. We use a Kanban methodology, and Qmetry tool is very very flexible, and it is very easy to use, and if we configure it right, it is easy to use. So with all that, I ended up the R&D doing with different tools, and ended up with Qmetry. And yeah, that's the basic reason, Darshi.
Oh, okay. But I don't think a lot of people use Qmetry. I mean, I don't remember anyone else from the company also using Qmetry. I think so that's something new that is coming up.
Yeah, as well as I think just not Qmetry. I think most of the people in company doesn't use Jira NextGen as well. So that
Yeah,
might be one of the reasons as well.
true, true. That could be it. And so, how did actually test management help you guys to manage, like during to work with it? Because we are all working from home, right? So, how did it actually help you guys with the pandemic? And like, how did it help the other stakeholders in your project as well? Maybe one of you guys can start on it.
So one of the things that I can give as an idea or as a practical scenario that went through is that we were used to work in a same cubicle or else sharing the same space, and it was just easy for a QA engineer to communicate with a developer. We can just say there is a bug here. What do we do about it? Do we do we roll back? What do we do? Likewise, and even when it comes to communicating with the product owner, it was easier previously, although we used to have this communication between product owners who are foreigners. Still it was easier when we were working in a company or else in the same space. But after we moved into work from home environment, there were people, they could not be in the same working hours. Sometimes the working hours had to switch a bit to cater their requirement at home as well. Some people started early just because they wanted to cover all the things up, and they plan ahead because they are busy in the evening with the kids or else different other reasons. So all these tools coming up, and also the reason that we had the tools helped us very much, that we cover up this communication gap, and to make sure that each and everyone knows. So all these uh, filters and different methodologies that the test management tool uses to show what kind of bugs do we have in a particular user story, in the user story itself, as well as how much of effort that the QA engineer has put in, even though the product owner might not be visible. It is just a matter of tapping a few instances in their mobile phone, and previously it was not the case. They had to come into the stand-up calls, they had to maybe even come into a video conference likewise. So it is not the case right now. So all these usages of different tools that we have in test management has helped to cover up this gap. And especially when it comes to reportings and different dashboards, it is just the product owner just has to have a glimpse, and they know, do we need to roll back this release, or else can we go ahead with the release likewise. So I in my opinion, all these test management tools, not restricting myself into one, all these tools has helped us immensely. And I think most of these tools that we are currently addressing here will have other new features as well to help us with the situations, and to improve. Yeah.
Okay. Do you all have anything to add more, Mahisha and Upeksha?
Yeah, so Darshi, in, speaking of my project, so our product owner, so he's also joining with the testing team to test critical functionalities sometimes. So normally he's not a test rail person, he's not use test rail all the time. So even though he's not familiar with test rail, he can understand the flow and he could easily use the tool whenever necessary. And the next thing is the time difference between two countries. So we stop working a little bit early compared to their time. So at the end of the day, they get the overall test results by looking at the test run dashboards. So in TestRail, they have a dashboard. So anyone can get the test results from there. So we don't need to make the Excel sheets or test result charts to send them daily updates. Uh, so since we can see the test cases from the Jira user story itself, so developers also have idea on what to develop. Like it helps developers to improve dev testing and prevent producing bugs. So testers don't have to reopen issues back and forth. Uh, so in pandemic, like in our projects, especially in mobile testing, we tested two platforms as Android and iOS. So we had two QAs in our team. We had like what we did was we divided test cases into two and verified them both in the both platforms within one test run. So in order to do that, as I mentioned earlier, we had shared devices, but in work from home situation, we couldn't share the devices. So what we newly implemented process was one tester test on one mobile platform and the other tester test on the other platform with available devices by creating two different test runs. So this can be done because of TestRail provides support to create different test runs at the same time. And we can include all the details regarding the executions like build version, browsers, mobile devices, OS versions, kind of everything. So when we were in office, we tend to ask those details in person, as Chamant mentioned. So, but in work from home situation, sometimes that person is not available at that time. So it's really easy and fast to get the details from the test run. So that's how it helps us in this pandemic.
That was great, Maisha. Okay, I think we are done with the panel discussion. So thank you very much, guys, Chamat, Maisha, and Preksha. I hope all of you all enjoyed the panel discussion. Now let's actually start answering the questions that that they had. If you guys have any more questions, just add it to the chat, and we'll be taking it now. So the first question is, can we import existing Excel test cases into TestRail?
Yes. So um, definitely yes. So if you are just getting started with TestRail, you might already have existing test cases stored in your documents or any other test management tools. So definitely we can import test Excel sheets to the TestRail, and as well as we can export existing test cases as well.
Okay, I hope it answered your question. And the next question is, will TestRail charge us for the user license separately, or are they charging based on the Jira user account when integrated?
Yeah, so when it comes to the pricing, they don't charge us for the Jira accounts. They have different packages. So when you go to the TestRail uh, website, they have mentioned all the packages they have, and they uh, charges for the users. Like for instance, they have package called TestRail Professional Crowd Pricing. So in there, they charges $34 for 1 to 20 users. Likewise, they charges for the users for particular packages.
So I think I can add one comment there related to Qmetry. Previously, when we initially started, as I said, my project was a startup, so everything related to price is a concern for a startup project. And after we did the R&D, I can't remember the number. I mean the price for Qmetry users, but let's say it's an X amount. After a few months, they had communicated to us after 1 or 2 years, I think, after they have gone to production, there was a price increase, and that is when I try to ask from them the support from Qmetry that is there a way that I can reduce the number of users just because the number of Jira users are not equal to the users that we have in Qmetry, although it's a plugin. So their answer was that they cannot do that. They measure the number of users from the Jira account. and TestRail might be different, but I just wanted to let the people that we have in the discussion know that when it comes to Qmetry, it is not the number of users that we have in Qmetry, it is the number of users we have in Jira. So even though the product owner and the CEO doesn't do anything in Jira, just except for going through the tasks and monitoring, they will be that number of users would be charged as well. Yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Okay. Next, there we have a question saying which is good for automation, test Qmetry or TestRail?
So Qmetry, there is a non-functional testing support for Qmetry, but to be honest, I have not tried it yet because the as I previously said as well, the project is not just stable enough that we have a automation suite right at the moment. But I'm sure since we already have these CI/CD integrations and all, the automations that we use are also aligning with that. But that actually I cannot directly answer, referring to the Qmetry tool. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, in TestRail, I'm also not tried that. We haven't integrated automation test suite with the TestRail, but they have said like they have open API, REST API, so we can automate. We can integrate our automation automated test and submit the test results with TestRails using the REST API, and also we can integrate it with the CI/CD tools like Jenkins. So, but the thing is, I haven't tried it, so I also cannot answer it directly.
Okay. And we have one more question. So, if it's a two QA team, does it make sense to implement and maintain a test management tool, or will it be? I mean, will it be time consuming? Like if they have since they already have time constraints and everything.
Yeah, so in that kind of environment, it is understandable that we have this concern in our mind, whether do we have the time to do it? We have the testing activities and all. So yeah, that is a valid question. But when it comes to the project I worked, initially it was just me, just one QA engineer versus 5 developers, and there were quite a bit concern about how do I manage the number of items that I get daily and planning for it, writing test cases as well as executing. Um, so in that case, what we did was we just took a small break, and the whole team contributed towards to make a proper regression suite. We understood all the areas, we understood what kind of high or else happy path areas that we have, and critical areas. We wrote all the test cases that we need in a high level manner as a regression suite. So that was the start that we had to use, and that was the start that I built upon. So upon the on top of the regression suite and the test cases that we wrote were the rest of the test cases. So in that kind of cases, if we have only two QAs, depending on the time that we can spare, we can communicate it to the customer as well, and show the risk of not having a proper test case management, or else the test management tool. And say for instance, there is a release, and after 3 to 4 months back, 3 to 4 months in the future, the customer comes back and asks whether do you have these test cases written in the release that we had 1 month back. There is a critical issue that has arisen, did you test this? So if we do not have any evidence there, that is a practical scenario. No one has to take the blame, but that is just a gap between our processes and how we work. We just have to make sure that we go through it, resolve the issue that we have currently, and do not do the mistake in the next coming run. So test management tools helps to do it. And I in my opinion, it doesn't matter two QAs or one QAs, because I started doing it and the project has accepted it, and the estimations have been affected, everything has been affected, but it is for the better future of the product development. So I guess yes, although you have two QAs, it is a risk that you should take, as well as it is something that you should consider to have it. You can start with something that is open source, or else have a free trial, and then show what it does to the customer, and show the progression. That's what I think.
Yeah, to add couple of words to Chamat's answer. So I also think you need to take that risk, especially if your project has a room to grow, right? So it might only have two QAs at the moment, but it might grow further. And it's not just QAs that are working in your project. So there are development team members, POs, and people like that. So having a test management tool will ease up your work. Uh, Not just your work, the entire team's work. So yeah, so it's good if you can take that risk. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think just one last question. Apart from these test management tools, are there others available?
Yeah. So when it comes to Jira, the app place that we have, there are many number of test management tools out there, as well as there are other test management tools that we sometimes doesn't link with Jira, or else any other bug management, or else project management system. There are even if it is properly maintained, some people use Excel sheets. Even Excel sheets could be a proper test management tool if we configure it properly and if we use it properly. So there are many. It is just a matter of doing the research, applying it for the project. Think about how we work in the project, and will it work in a it's not just for 1 month, right? If we select a test management tool, it will be for the long run. We might not be in the project, but still there will be people who are coming and going and working. So we should have thoughts about that as well, and we should decide upon. And for the question, yes, there are. Darshi, you are muted.
Sorry. Well, that's all we've got for us today. Thank you guys again for answering all those questions and for the great panel discussion. It was a pleasure to have all you guys with us. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned something new about test management tools and enjoyed the discussion. Until next time, bye guys. Oh, and we'll also be sending you guys a form. So just a survey to see how much you like the discussion. Please fill those as well. And also join our future discussions. Thank you guys. Bye.